All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk again about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a video game that's going to be coming out pretty soon, and this one has been advertised incessantly with nonstop DEI-oriented stuff to the point where it is nauseating. People are very clearly not looking forward to Dragon Age Veilguard. The trailer got roasted to no end. The graphics look like they came out of Fortnite, and it just doesn't feel like a Dragon Age game. Like, for people who are old school Dragon Age players, it just doesn't feel like it. It feels like the Fortnite version of Dragon Age Inquisition. That's honestly how it seems, and it just seems like it's going to get worse. Well, apparently, Dragon Age the Veilguard game director confirms that inclusivity is at the heart of the game's character creator and features pronoun nonsense.
LBG.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the pronoun nonsense is here to stay for a lot of these AAA games, and then they wonder why AA and indie games are stealing their money. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Dragon Age the Veilguard game director, a man pretending to be a woman and calling himself Corin Bush, confirmed that inclusivity is at the heart of the game's character. Oh, this person. Okay, so I know exactly who they're talking about. And Corin Bush is exactly what That Park Place said, which is a man pretending to be a woman, shockingly. And it looks like he's going to continue doubling down on the nonsense that has been putting him in hot water since the beginning. Not too shocking. As reported by Game Informer's Wesley LeBlanc, the character creator allows players to choose between 4 different races: elves, Kunari, humans, and dwarves. It also allows for more detailed looks at each and the ability to choose pronouns with she, her, he, him, and they, them, separately from gender, select different body types, and more. Now, I gotta admit, I think it's pretty damn lazy. I think it's lazy representation, because these people who believe in he, him, they, them, she, her nonsense, right? Wearing pronouns as titles, which that's not how the English language works, right? You use pronouns as descriptions for people. You don't use them as titles for yourself, but that's neither here nor there. You got to admit that they are in the sauce, right? They know about all this nonsense. So I think it's pretty insane that you guys ignore every other pronoun, right? Like, if you're going to do pronouns, they always just do the simple 3, which is they, them, she, her, he, him. That's all they do. Well, I think that's pretty lazy. I think you need to go full on. I think you need to put in some Zer. I think you need to put some Zay Zem. I think you need to put some Fay Fayer. I think you need to put frog self. I think you need to put every single pronoun known to fucking man, neo and non-neo, in there. Otherwise, you're just lazy. You're just lazy. You're not actually doing any form of real representation. I think you're pretty bigoted, to be honest with you. I think you need to add more pronouns into the game. Three sets of pronouns is not enough. How is all of these different identities supposed to see themselves? You guys say representation is huge and it's very important. Well, you need to add everything. I need to look at that pronoun list and see 1,000 of them. That's what I need to do, because that's the only way everybody's going to be able to see themselves properly in this game that you claim is very important about representation. The character creator will also feature 40 different skin complexions that include a range of youthful, freckled, smooth, and rugged. There are also various skin hues and skin tones, and the game has a melanin slider. Okay, interesting. That's nothing new, though. You've been able to choose your skin color forever, so who cares? LeBlanc noted that BioWare relied on a consultation to represent all people authentically. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so they relied on consultation. So they're being I can't help but laugh. I can't help but laugh, considering that I just did a video on Tales of Kanzera Zao that developer claimed they were super successful regardless of the boycott from gamers, and now they're firing people left and right because they didn't make enough money. Like, that is just the funniest thing to me. But apparently BioWare has a DEI consultancy firm, and they didn't want to choose, they didn't want to say DEI consultancy because they know that's a dirty word. But that's what it is. They have DEI consultation in order to represent all people authentically. Guaranteed, the authentic representation is just hardcore stereotypes. Like, how can you get proper representation in a game that's not even built around modern day? That just doesn't make any sense. How are you gonna authentically represent people when they should have their own personal beliefs and looks and feels to them based off of their world and not our world, right? Like, that's the big difference. It's the fantasy world. But hey, you want to lose money? Go for it. Other options include adjusting height, weight, shoulder width, chest size, glutes and hip width, as well as the size of your genitalia. Another reason for the full frontal nudity. So they're just going full Baldur's Gate 3, which is interesting because now I guarantee you, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember what I'm about to say, okay? All of these gaming urinalists out here that complain about the sexualization of female characters when they're standard hot, right? So like they're talking about Eve, right? When they were complaining about Eve being sexualized and how you need to cover her up and everything, and yet they completely simped for Baldur's Gate 3, basically jerked off publicly to it on every single article and talked about how sexy it was and whatnot. And they did it with Hades as well, Hades 2. They talked about how sexy the characters are and whatnot, right? I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, the articles that are going to come out for Dragon Age Veilguard are not, they're going to be such shills. It's going to be insane. And then you're going to have all of the sexualization everywhere online. You're going to have all the articles talking about how hot the game is. You're going to have all the articles talking about how you have a dick slider. You have dick and balls physics. Just like they did with Baldur's Gate 3, they're going to do the same exact thing with Dragon Age Veilguard. I promise you. There are options to adjust mouth, nose, and ears, as well as a number of different sliders. LeBlanc explains on ears alone, I could see you adjust symmetry, depth, rotation, earlobe size, and even add cauliflower ear to your rook. Listen, most of this stuff is standard at this point. I don't know why they're talking about it as if it's the bravest thing in the world, but it's standard. The game also features extensive makeup options. That's great. There's also a variety of hair options. That's great. Fantastic. Good for you. It's no surprise that BioWare and Dragon Age Veilguard are encouraging disordered lifestyles and promoting evil ideologies with its character creator. After all, the game director is living a lie. In fact, Bush previously claimed that the game was inherently queer. In a developer's story focused on Bush, he stated, as a queer trans woman, I have a perspective on the games that not everyone has. Dragon Age has long been a place where LGBTQIA folks can see themselves represented respectfully. It's inherently very queer, and it's such a rare thing for marginalized communities to have representation where we feel proud and powerful in how we are depicted. Yeah, hey, listen, if you feel proud and powerful in being depicted as a Kunari, whatever, or a dwarf, rock with it, man. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to tell you otherwise, but listen, you guys need to understand and know the mindset of the person who is directing this game. Bush does not have the game's, best interest at heart. Bush is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is validating themselves through the game that they are making. They want to push a certain agenda. They want to push a certain ideology. That's just the truth of it. Whether people want to admit it or not, that is the truth, and you just have to make the decision yourself. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You make it for yourself. Are you going to buy the game and support it, or are you not? So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.